There were many reasons to be happy about us maintaining our Premier League status as a football club. Lots of obvious ones. All the ones you already know and you already think that the whole reason you did a massive sigh of relief after we beat Watford. But there was one particular one which really pleased me. And it was to do with Jim Bowen. Jarrod Bowen Arrow on the right there. Because he would have been off. When we purchased him from Hull, it was understood that he had a 20 million release clause written into his contract in the event of relegation. Make no mistake about it, that would have been triggered. This kid is better than I ever hoped he would possibly be. You never know about the transition from the Championship up to the Premier League, which is why it's possibly a risky policy of David Moyes, if we're to believe that is David Moyes' policy of just recruiting from the Championship. I think you look at Sheffield United and you think, okay, well, team come up in the Championship and did really, really well. But then you look at Norwich, and Norwich were really good in that Championship. Didn't do quite so well. And there's maybe players in the Norwich team that you thought and maybe looked at one point would set the Premier League alight. And maybe they didn't. The striker Pukki would be a prime example in this. He'd been excellent the season before. I think the season before that as well. Maybe they got him from a Swiss club or something like that, if I remember rightly. He'd been absolutely fantastic. Been scoring goals at a season and a half. Coming to the Premier League, looked like he was going to continue. Then it tailed off. It now looks like perhaps as a striker, he's not quite good enough for the Premier League. So you never know with these things. As promising some players are. Now, it was promising what Jarrod Bowen had done at Hull. But you never know. So he came in, and I've got to say, he was brilliant. Moyes was somewhat reticent to put him in initially. It was cautious words from Moyes, weren't they? We can't expect... This is one of my favourite... Because of the way it played out. One of my favourite statements was, we can't expect Bowen to come in. We can't expect... Basically, we're in trouble if we're expecting a player from Hull in the Championship to come up to West Ham and save us. Well, look, we all say things which, if you look back in time, maybe don't age so well. But he did. Yes, there are other factors. Let's not take O'Connor out of the equation. Let's not take Antonio out of the equation. Let's not take Souček and Rice out of the equation. But it's a team game. It's not a game of tennis, understandably. Lots of people are involved. But I actually think he did. He really played a massive part in coming up from the Championship, coming up from Hull and saving us. And he was better than I ever thought. I think I was expecting a little bit more forward play. A little bit more ghosting into the box. If you remember, just before we had lockdown, we had some really good bits of play with him and Sebastian Haller. Him really playing off him getting close to him. He scored a goal. It was at the London Stadium. He almost scored a very, very similar goal in the game before that, if my memory serves me correctly. So I thought we were getting somebody that drifted into the attacking positions, but I wasn't quite prepared for the work rate, the application, the desire to win, how much he would help out defensively and how much he would be up for taking on a battle with his opposition number. But mostly left backs, isn't it? I also found he was more skillful than I thought. And one thing I was totally unprepared for was the set plays, was the quality of his delivery. And actually, I say that, I'll talk about delivery in just a second, but if you also look at a couple of assists he had from open play to Michail Antonio with his weak foot, that was impressive as well. So whilst it might not be Cazorla, it might not be Santi Cazorla we're dealing with here, we are dealing with someone who has worked on both feet. Should be obvious, right? A professional footballer can kick the ball with both feet. I'm always amazed how many can't. I can't, but I'm not a professional footballer, even though, clearly, I look like one, right? Fantastic what we saw from Bowen with those set pieces, though. for so long we've not had a set-piece taker. We get a little glimmer. So we get a Dimitri Payet. By and large, we hit the first man from set pieces. That's generally what we do. It's West Ham's hallmark. And never mind where's the castle gone off the badge. Hold on. Why are we not hitting the first man at corners anymore? It's as West Ham as pie and mesh, right? We get a little bit of a hiatus from the mediocrity when Snodgrass comes in. We've already discussed him. If I've already uploaded that one yet, I never know what order I upload these videos in. By the way, I pretty much make it up the night before. But Snodgrass has given us some stability in terms of set plays. But Snodgrass isn't always on the pitch. Rightly so. Snodgrass shouldn't be starting every game. So he actually needs a free kick taker, a corner taker, whatever, who's on the pitch pretty much all the time. Because then you can base your tactics around it. It's pointless basing set plays on Robert Snodgrass taking a delivery if he's gonna play in a quarter of the games. No, if you never know when you get a free kick or you're going to get a corner. So why don't we actually base it around someone that's on the pitch at all times? And what I saw from Bowen was sensational. The deliveries were so precise, were so accurate and so consistent that it allowed David Moyes, or if it was him, it might have been Paul Nevin, might have been Kevin Nolan. I suspect Nolan had quite a lot to do with it. But it allowed them to construct these quite impressive set pieces. And we saw a number of occasions, you know, the Diop flick on, or at least the attempted Diop flick on, Souček at the back post. We even saw some variation. We saw, if you remember when Declan Rice did the air kick, but it was a variation. We saw a little 1-2 with Mark Noble, and then Jarrod Bowen actually delivered the ball from deeper. Basically, it gives some variety, something you can work on. And there's no harm in going into a game so prepared that you think, OK, we've actually got 6 set pieces. You'd call them in American sport, you call them plays, the playbook. We've got 6 separate plays here. Stunning the line-outs in rugby all the time. They have a call. Someone puts their hand up, they hold out some numbers, they do something. Everyone moves in position, the line-out. The hooker throws the ball, not that type of hooker. The hooker throws the ball. Someone lifts the lock up, he grabs it. But they have a set play. It's there to confuse the opposition. Any advantage is a good advantage. And what Jarrod Bowen does so much there is he gives us a certainty and allows us to plan. Now let's look at his attitude. Absolutely fantastic. He does not stop running. He does not stop working. He is a constant threat. He's a constant menace. I have no doubt that his opposition number, that the left back, whoever he comes up against, at the end of the game thinks, thank goodness that is over. He ain't the quickest. He's not slow, all right? But we've not gone and signed... what's his name? It looks like Nathan Dyer, you know, or anything like that. It's not Craig Bellamy. He's quick enough, but there will be fullbacks that are quicker than Jarrod Bowen. But constant pressure, constantly wearing down. As I say, come the end of it, whoever's marking him must think, you know, thank goodness that is over because he has not stopped. And actually, in terms of the softening up of a fullback, if Bowen can run him ragged for 80 minutes and then Yarmolenko comes on against a knackered fullback, that's got to have some currency to it as well. I like that. The desire to win is clear. I also like the way that I've seen him shouting at his teammates. Maybe I just like shouting at people. That shows confidence. You forget football for a minute. Just imagine you going into a workplace and having the confidence in your new workplace. You're the new boy. You've gone in there. Everyone else is working in this office or wherever it is you work. They all know each other. The actual confidence to go into somewhere and say to people who are established, who already know each other, when you're on your own, and say, oi, you're not doing that right. You're doing a bad job there. You need to do it like this. He's confident. It shows personality. Because most people wouldn't. Most people, possibly even sensibly, would say, oh, I'm going to keep it down. I don't want to make myself too unpopular. I'm going to ease my way in here. But what it means is his winner's instinct has taken over. And Declan Rice has got it, by the way. It's that mental fortitude. It's that assuredness of mind, that single-mindedness that's a powerful tool. And it's just as important as being able to flick the ball or flick the ball, kick the ball, head the ball, whatever you want to say. Moyes has the mantra, don't run, don't play. But I like to think he's probably scouting people. We can see that with Bowen. We can see that with Sue checking the amount of ground they cover. But I would also like to think for too long we have not scouted players due to their injury record. I think we should scout players how fit they are. But I also think there should be some sort of psycho-evaluation going on. How driven are they? How determined are they? Stuff like that is very, very important. I think when you get it right, you get a player that is going to give you 7, 8 out of 10 every game. And that is, you can base something around that. That's far more predictable than someone doing 5 or 6 out of 10 every game, and then having a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 every 4 or 5 games. That's harder to plan. They might save you. They have their moments. But actually, the work rate and the commitment that someone like Jarrod Bowen's got is priceless to a team. And I don't want to go on too much about the work rate and the mental fortitude and damn him with faint praise about the other things, because he is skillful. He's really good at what he does. His ball skills are good. He can clearly finish. He can clearly pass. He can clearly cross. He can shift the ball quickly between his feet. He's really good at that. But I think he's probably, let's say, technique. I think he's probably 7.5 out of 10. Probably goal scoring 7.5 out of 10. Crossing, probably a little bit better. But you put all these 7 out work, you put all these things together, and you're going to produce these all the time, constantly. He works up to much more than the sum of his parts. I think he's quite a remarkable player. I think if we can keep him at West Ham, he is actually going to become a legend for all the right reasons, because I think he's going to score loads of goals. He's going to be the guy, by the way. Like right at the moment, we'd love to get Ginger Pele in for an interview. Gio would love to sit down with Ginger Pele and do an interview, and we'd love to have him on Hammers Chat, right? But he is held in high esteem by the fans. I think Jarrod Bowen will be that. I think he will be, when he's finished his West Ham career, if he stays here a few years, be held in incredibly high esteem by the fans, because he's a worker. We love a trier. We love someone to work hard at West Ham. That's true. But ideally, you're not useless as well. Because we've had a few that run around, but we're quite useless. He's quality. He's quality. He's probably good enough to play for other teams. He's no Jadon Sancho. We're dealing with a very, very different player here. But I'm not sure that... I think he's the right player for us. I was going to say I'm not sure West Ham need a Jadon Sancho. We would say no, would be. Let's be honest. But... And he wouldn't come. But I think this is definitely the way to do things. And I think he is a player that we can build the team around. Some of these videos, because we're looking at each player in the squad, are easier than others. This one's a walk in the park. I could talk for another 10 minutes about Jim Bowen, but I won't. I'll let you off. I'll let you go and continue on your day. Because actually, the questions in the series are easy on this one. What would I do? Well, you know. What will David Moyes do? Well, exactly the same as what I would do, exactly the same as what you would do. Look in the Yarmolenko one, look in the Noble one, look at all of this stuff. You'll find people with differing opinions. There won't be a comment on it, unless someone wants to put one on now to be smart. There won't be a comment on this video where anyone says, I think we should get rid of Bowen, I think we should cash in, or anything like that. Because he's absolutely brilliant. Everybody knows his value. Everybody knows his worth to West Ham. And everybody knows that as long as we, West Ham, don't do anything stupid, Jarrod Bowen, Jim Bowen, is going to be a part of West Ham for a long time to come. And here's the thing. If you've stayed around and watched the end of the video, there's probably only 3 people watching now. But all 3 of you. When I see his name on the team sheet, it gives me confidence. It gives me confidence he's a good player and he's a dangerous player. And I think if I'm looking at a team sheet thinking, this is good, this gives us a real outlet. I think when that team sheet goes into the opposition manager, I think they see it, they look at it and think, Bowen's playing. we've got a problem. We're going to have to make changes to our team. We're going to have to make concessions. We're going to have to watch on set pieces. Basically, we're going to have to really watch things down our left side. And I think the minute, and we've done too little of this at West Ham, by the way, the moment you can get the opposition worrying about you, you gain some little small advantage.